He's kind of near and dear to my heart. I'm not trying to sound like a bromance up here, but he got me involved in this group. I was pretty dry at 2 years sober, and he started having me do H&Is with him, and we worked together. And he's what this program's all about. He is a good employee, a good husband, a good father, and he helps. And at our company, we're pretty busy, and he's always there, and he sacrifices a lot of time and a lot of effort into this program. And I look up to him. He's always just even keel, even at work, even when he's irritated. He does what he's supposed to do to get rid of that irritation. I'm a complainer, I'll be honest. I complain a lot, and he's always there to listen, but he holds me accountable and puts me back on track. And I'm so grateful for him and what he's done for me and getting me involved, which in turn's gotten Emily involved. And this is like our little family now, and I'll be forever in debt to Tommy. So come up here, buddy.
Hey everyone, my name is Tommy Motley. I'm a very grateful recovered alcoholic. Y'all are my family. Seemed like very short years ago, I stumbled back in here, 3-time loser. I'm trying this one more time, and thank God, AA still stands. This group still stands. There was a lot of the same faces that were here when I left last time. Welcomed me back with open arms, hugged my neck, made sure I ate, made sure I was okay, and just showed me that this thing can work. And that's what I always needed, was something that could work, because what used to work for me in the past stopped working, and it was killing me daily. I come from a small town outside of Waco, Texas. Small family, just one sibling, have a sister. My parents are still married. No shenanigans. There's no alcoholism in the immediate family. Didn't really have any, there was no issues that would drive someone to do the things that I would later turn and do. I had sips of my dad's beer early on, nothing major. As we become teenagers, we do what teenagers do. You boost a couple of your dad's beers, steal some cigarettes, things like that. Alcohol started doing for me as I got older, got involved in sports. Here I am. I've always felt outside of my circle. I was captain of the football team, class president, all that stuff. I had friends, but I've always felt different than, I always wanted my insides to look like their outsides. I never did quite feel like I fit in. I was heavy set as a kid, so I always felt like I wasn't good looking enough, I wasn't tall enough, I wasn't strong enough, yada, yada, yada. But alcohol did things for me that it made me fit in. I became one of. I was taller, I was better looking. I could dance a little better, and I dance horribly now, so it doesn't, that really didn't help that much. But it just made it easier. I didn't care who was looking, though. I'll put it that way. So I grow up, through high school, the few parties here and there. Alcohol doesn't really turn on me. Occasionally I'll puke on someone's shoes, or they'll puke on mine. That's what kids do, is the way I looked at it. As I got older, college years, a girl I dated all through high school, her family, her dad, her mother, her brothers, everyone was nurses. That seemed like a good career path I wanted. It didn't seem too hard. And they all had nice cars, nice house, things that I thought, that's what I need. So I I partake in my college career. I start classes. My goals are up here. I ended up right about here. I got my LVN certificate, started working. Drinking became a very prominent force in my life. I was young, single, getting paid very good money for the time. And I like to go out. Like I said, I was single. We went out. We drank until there was no more. And, he said, my wife is here tonight, and honey, I'm sorry if you hear anything that you haven't ever heard before. It's not because I didn't want to tell you, it just now dawned on me. But we chased women. That's what we did. We were young, we were single, and I ran with single guys, and that's just, that's what we did. It's funny, I look back on it now, and there's a comedian that states it so eloquently. It's like, my drinking career reminds me, I became a time traveler, because I kept, we'd go out, first I'm at the bar, then I wake up and I'm in line getting a burrito, and then I'm in a barn, and then I'm just ended up in all these strange places, and I don't know why. I wake up in the morning, my truck is home, I don't remember driving home. Well, it must have been a pretty good night. This goes on for a while. I'm working, taking good care of myself. I'm still, going out 2 or 3 nights a week. Well, I injured my shoulder at the gym one day, and a life-changing event happens. The doctor prescribes me hydrocodone. I was warned in nursing school, because it is a huge problem, that you don't put your hand in the cookie jar, because, it has cost countless numbers of nurses their license and their lives. A doctor, out of no fault of his own, filled me a prescription and kept refilling it until he just, out of the kindness of his heart, was just like, I can't, in good faith, do this anymore. So here I am, what I consider a young man with a promising career, and I've got a pretty nasty hydrocodone addiction. And I'm sorry, I'm all about singleness and purpose, but I like to tell, drugs is a very big part of my story, and I want to get that out there, because if anyone can relate to it, that, it might reach their heart tonight, I want them to hear it. And then in the meanwhile, as this is going on, I reconnect with a girl that I went to high school with, and we start to date, move in together. We would eventually get married. She had no idea what she was in store for. We basically connected because we like to do the same things. We like to stay out late. We like to drink real hard. And unfortunately for her, I introduced her into my way of life, which by this time had, there's things that speed up the evening, we'll say, things that make you stay up later, drink a lot more, and basically, eventually ruins your life. We went through spirals of this, trying to quit. It's funny, we never could quite get on the same page. No one ever wanted to quit at just the same time. So it was either hiding what we're doing from each other, which doesn't make for a very happy household. So what we decided to do, she gets pregnant, and we decide to have a child. So for that brief period, she stops. Of course, I can't. In the meanwhile, I am a practicing nurse, working in hospitals, nursing homes, and I'm stealing medication on the regular. I've gotten to the point now where if I'm off for 2 days, I have got to make sure that I have enough stashed away, or I'm not going to make it through the weekend without getting sick. I've had the flu more than anyone you'll ever know over the weekend, just because I would get so dope sick come Sunday that I could not wait to get back to work. That phone would ring over the weekend and they needed somebody to fill in. I'm already putting my scrubs on before I'm even off the phone. I'm volunteering to work extra. I have to do whatever I can do to. I've got a pretty nasty addiction going on. So the day comes, our daughter's born, greatest day of my life. We bring her home. We bring two things home that day. bring home my beautiful daughter, and my wife brings home a prescription for hydrocodone. We're not home 2 days, and Abby starts to make this odd rattling noise when she sleeps and seems to be missing breath. So we take her back. I guess she wasn't quite done enough yet. So they keep us for a few days, and the wife sends me home to get some clothes and whatnot, and some other things for her and the baby. And what do? She left the hydrocodone there, and for the first time, I'd compromised probably every bit of dignity that I had, and I stole them and I took them. And so we get Abby out of the hospital, we come back home, and of course, she's hurting and she looks for her medicine and it's not there. And I'm such a liar. I mean, until I came in here, I would lie knowing that I'm caught red-handed, and I could just look you dead in the face and lie to you, and I hate that. She knew I took them. I knew she knew I took them. She had caught me several times with them. I mean, it's not, she was a nurse as well, so she knew what was going on. And that was probably what really fractured us beyond repair right there. I still have a picture of that day. I've got Abby, I'm laying on the bed, and I've got her on my chest. And look down at this beautiful girl. And I made a promise to her, like, I'm gonna stop. And I meant it with every fiber of my being that I was going to stop. And I did not realize then that I didn't have the power. Like I said, it tore me apart. She's there as an infant. I didn't get sober until she was 16 years old. There's a lot of hurt and a lot of heartache that's happened to her and to everyone else in my life in that time span. I continue to work, continue to steal. Amphetamines, booze, it's in and out of our lives. There's fights, when we got married, she had a small daughter that I love as my own. And so we're raising 2 daughters. My mother's a pre-K teacher. We've got one of our kids in there, and Mom can see the toll it's taking on us. And there becomes the first time in my parents' life they kind of pull me aside and like, what's going on? This was back in the late 90s, early 2000s when that was really prominent. I guess it still is, but it had really taken a foothold in our town. And she was able to finally pull it together. I'm still in and out. I'm trying really hard. I get to the point where I'm befriending people from work, med aids, anyone I can. My addiction's gotten so bad. I mean, I have to have 20, 40, 60 tablets a day just to survive. I'm yellow. My eyes are just as jaundiced as they can be. It's painful to touch my sides. I'm dying. And I'm introduced to AA for the first time. And man, other than the detox, I detoxed at home off of those. That was brutal, but man, I got some really good relief from AA, and I fell in love with it then. But man, this disease is so cunning and so baffling. After a while, 3 months sober, I started to look better, start to feel better, start to smell better. I'm taking care of myself, getting me back. And I fooled myself, like, well, I've beaten this pill thing. I can still drink and be a normal human. I'll just, I don't need this AA thing. And I appreciate it, and I thank y'all for, helping me out. But I'm done. I proceed to go back out. Things are fine for a while. The occasional slip up here and there. I become I'm going to peek through your medicine cabinet just to see what you got in there when we come over to visit. That's embarrassing when that gets found out. I've since made amends to these people, and there were some old neighbors of ours, and they're just grateful that I'm still alive. They're good folks, good Christian folks, and I love them to death. We're moving around at times. We've moved to Angelo. We've moved back to the little town we were from. So I take this new job, and suddenly one day I decide I need a pick-me-up. And opiates to me are like methamphetamines to skin poppers. It lights me on fire. I can work better. I can work longer. And it's right there where I left off. I mean, I am taking handfuls in a short period of time. And I'm right back there. Yellow again. I'm sicker than I've ever been, ever. And I get caught. I mean, I had a nice little scam going on. I'm writing scripts. I'm having them brought in. And eventually red flags go up, like this is a lot of narcotics moving in and out of this nursing home. There I am, red-handed. I've just thrown away my career. How am I going to support my family? How am I going to tell my family, my friends? I don't know what to do. Again, this time I'm thrown in a car. I'm being taken to treatment, and I'm not going. I'm jumping out of a moving car if I have to. Finally, I convince her to pull over, and I'm left at my parents' house again to detox again. And I proceed to use booze to get off of opiates. I'm a complete wreck. She takes the kids, moves out to Angelo. I will soon follow in just as bad shape as she's ever seen. By the grace of God, a good family friend of ours reached out, and I was introduced to a doctor here locally that got me on Suboxone. And over a year's time, I was weaned off safely. And again, I think I'm better. It's just these stupid pills that keep, that's destroying my life. So I continue to, quote unquote, try to be normal. And man, drinking is my thing. It has worked for me. Like I said, it is my solution. And it was for a very long time. And like I always say, some people, alcohol ruined their life right off the bat. Mine is the death of 1,000 razors. It is just one embarrassing moment after another, but it keeps giving me this brief glimpse of hope that I'm getting under control. I may not, true, I just drank for 3 days and I couldn't get out of bed, and I had to physically be removed from it, but I'm okay now. I've been sober 2 weeks. Surely I can have a beer with the guys. That becomes my MO for years and years and years. Finally, we tried to reconcile. I'm still drinking. Again, I'm given an ultimatum: either get well or get out. It's the first time I walked in these doors. Let me backtrack. So I try AA again. I end up at another group here in town. I walk in. I'm brand new. I don't know what to do. I don't know anyone in this town. I sit through a meeting about God knows what. It definitely was not a solution-based meeting. And no one approached me. No one talked to me. I basically left there as hopeless as I'd walked, even more dejected than when I walked in. So luckily, I saw there was a meeting here at 6:30 that night. So with beer on my breath, I make it back up here. And in this time, I had started some working in the oil field. I started as an electrician's helper, working my way up into what would later become my new career, and ran across what would soon to be my sponsors, Jerry. I recognized him, and this sense of elation comes over me because I don't know what's fixing to happen in here. I see God on the walls. Man, I'd taken my family to church 1,000,000 times trying to get sober. I'd prayed to God, please, I don't want to do this anymore. And I had a bad taste in my mouth with it, to be honest. God won't help me, so be it. I don't need his help. So I'm not sure how this thing's going to turn out. But I get with Jerry and go in the little room back there, and I start my steps. And I love it. I mean, everyone else is reluctant, but I'm feeling it. This is going to be it this time. This is about 2006. That is not my sobriety date, as you can tell, most of you that's been here. I hang around for about 5, almost 6 months, and I start doing what we do. I start feeling better. I start heeing and sheeing. Stop coming around, stop being a part of. Prayer meditations, sparse, if any. That's the wonderful thing about this program. It works. But you got to work it. You're not gonna. You don't just finish your steps and you're done. You don't graduate and you're done. You can just move on with your life. This is a lifelong process. It's not hard, but it sure can be at times if you don't take the right approach. Again, I'm out the door. And it really ramps up. At the time, both my children are living with me. I've got my 18-year-old daughter and my 12-year-old daughter living with me. We're doing the best we can. They've been with me most of the time as they've grown up. And I'm still doing, and I have put them in jeopardy so many times. This is not something I'm very proud of, but I've driven numerous times intoxicated with them in the car at high rates of speed. We're having a good time. Look how fast Daddy can go. It seems like fun and games at the time, but it breaks my heart now when I think about it. Alcoholism does strange things to children. They've got very hardened emotions. They've seen, even if they haven't witnessed a lot of trauma, they just become numb almost, man. They're strong girls today. But no thanks to me. They just, when you're raised by an alcoholic, you got to get thick skin. It's really sad that, my children grew up probably not knowing if they could depend on me 100% of the time if they needed me. If they had to call me in the middle of the night, is Dad going to be drunk and not be able to answer the phone? So the drinking continues. Abby that's my youngest, she gets into a little bullying issue at school. So she decides to go live with her mom down in South Texas. And so now it's me and my oldest daughter and her soon-to-be fiance, now her husband, would later move in with us. And eventually they'd witnessed enough. They had seen enough. These are, bless their hearts, they're going to church, they're trying to do the right thing, and then, Dad's doing what Dad's doing. There's people in and out of the house, there's, partying, there's come home countless times to, there's something burning in the oven, Dad's on the floor, Dad's in the bed, Dad's not here, and just got fed up with it. And that became the story of my life. Everyone just got fed up with it. You're 40 years old, 41 years old, 42 years old. When is this going to stop? My grandfather, my grandmother would be more than happy to tell you that he was a raging alcoholic. I never knew the man to be such. I used to hear all the stories that she would tell. To us, they were funny. To her, they were not. To my dad, it was not. Yeah, my dad was raised by one too. My grandfather didn't get sober until he was in his mid-40s. When my dad left for Vietnam, he said he'd never known a sober man in his life. Luckily, when he returned, my grandfather turned the page. He had tried AA. Fortunately, it didn't have real solution-based back then where he was. But as I look back on his life, he started leading a life of service-based. He was a church-going man. He would help these little old ladies who had lost their husbands. He got out of himself. Now, as I've worked the steps, I see that is the key because, alcohol and drugs isn't our problem. It's our selfish, self-centered ways that is our problem. So eventually the kids get tired. They move out. Now, I can look at it two ways. I can be sad that I've just driven another person out of my life. My opinion was just like, so be it. Now I can do what I want to do. I can drink like I want to drink. I can party like I want to party. I can have who I want to have over here. Let it be. I take a job, great paying job. That's the thing about my alcoholism. It always looked like I had it together, You've got the, nice house, nice truck, nice job, nice money. But on the inside, I'm dead. I'm doing things, I'm compromising everything that my parents have taught me, my values, my morals. I'm not a nice guy. I'm in and out of bars. I live there. Basically, like Norm and Cheers, I walk in and, I'm home. So one night, I'm leaving a bar with this woman that I've been off and on with for quite some time, and there's a pistol in my face. There's a man crying on the other end of it. He says, "You're sleeping with my wife." And I wanted him to pull the trigger because, they say that your life flashes in front of your eyes before you die. That's the God's honest truth. And man, mine was ugly. All that hurt that I'd caused my children, my family, people that I'd loved, my wife. I'd met my wife previously. She was just another, of countless people I just walked over, man. That's who I was. I did what I wanted to do, and I hurt you, be damned. It didn't matter. I look back on it now, and I so wanted him to do it. Here I am. I've always wanted to be a good husband. I wanted to be a good father, and I'm going to die here in a parking lot, for sleeping with another man's wife. By the grace of God, he didn't. God showed up in so many times in my life. This thing that I say doesn't exist, this thing that I would fight you tooth and nail to argue with it, it's not, he doesn't love me, he's not here for me, has had my back so many times. I just sit in awe sometimes and think, I shouldn't be here. But, I have a purpose today. There's someone out there that's going to need help. If it's one person, that was my purpose. If I die that day, I've lived a good life. I'd like to say that sobered me up. It did the opposite. I now completely lost the will to live. I turned inward, and the drinking began unlike I've never done. July 4th of 2019 rolls around. I'd probably been in bed for a week. I can manage myself up to the store long enough to get beer and then get back home. I'm hearing people outside celebrating Independence Day, freedom, our nation's freedom. Fireworks, laughter, and here I am. I'm a slave. I cannot physically stop drinking. I have no life, I have no quality of life. I'm not bathing. I'm not eating. I'm literally rolling over, drinking whatever's left out of a half-empty beer can, and going to the store. That is what my life consists of. I've got a drunk body and a sober mind, and I'm suicidal. I'm waking up, pistol on the nightstand, the pistol's in the bed. And that fateful night, I'm sitting on the edge of the bed. Like I said, so drunk, but so sober in my mind, and I just want to do it. I just want to end it. I'm tired of it. And I don't know if it's from all those Chris Raymer tapes I've listened to or Jerry Green. I don't know whose voice it was, but God put it there. And it's like, don't do this. There is a solution. And I came back. I called Jerry, and in typical Jerry fashion, who is this? So I taper myself off a bit. And I come to the Friday meeting, and he's there, and he hugs me, tells me he loves me, tells me I'm going to be okay. Brian and Jerry picked me up a few days later to make sure I'm eating. I've showered, I'm doing a little bit better, and I got to work. This is when the miracle happens. For the first time in my life, I was able to utter the hardest four-letter word that I ever muster from my lips, and that is help. I need help. I can't do this alone. I've tried therapy. I've tried yoga. I've tried being a marathoner. None of it worked. None of it worked. I was just a really in-shape alcoholic. That's all it was. I could run really far, and I could still drink with the best of them. But I just did not want to be mentally, bodily different from my fellows. But this time, I accepted it. It only takes, being pushed to death's door 1,000,000 times. A lot of people say you're gifted with your bottom, but some of us don't get that bottom. A lot of us die before we get there. You don't have to reach that bottom. I was blessed with the gift of desperation. It was either die, get busy dying, or get busy living, and I've thrown myself into this thing. And thank God y'all are still here, Chris, Susan, Gabe, all y'all, y'all are the core. Tony, these are guys, I recognized, from last time. And we are the embodiment that this thing works. You can tell someone all day long, but the proof is in the pudding. And so when they, if you're new or you're unsure, just keep showing up, Get you a sponsor and keep showing up. And see who else keeps showing up. How long they've been sober. How happy are they? What's life like today? We tell you not to judge people in here, but man, stick with the winners. Stick with the ones that are, enjoying life and things are going good. Things are going bad for them. They're still here. They're still smiling, Jerry went through a horrible ordeal. He lost a son in this thing to this thing. I'm sure it was rough. I'll never know what went on in that house or how many times he cussed God, if he did. But he stood tall and walked right through it, and that gives me hope. That's a big thing. I hope that, if I'm ever unfortunate enough to have to bury one of my children, if I lean on God hard enough, and I'm going to lean on y'all too, then I'm going to get through it. There is power in the fellowship. Don't sell that short. We don't put our, we don't rely on human aid, but we don't get sober that way. But you know what? Sometimes Kenny has to listen to me bitch too, and some of the greatest joy I get now is I'm reliable, My daughters are in their early 20s, and Abby's just now gone off to College Station to start her life, you know. And she's doing what girls of that age do. They go out, they have drinks, you know what? But she can call me, and I'm going to answer if I hear the ringer. But they can know that, you know, Dad is not drunk, that I can call Dad, that he is going to be there. My parents have a good son today. I don't come and visit and drink, you know, find myself drinking in the mornings in the garage so they don't see their son and how bad he is. My grandmother, you know, who's lost a lot to alcoholism, you know, she got her grandson back, you know. This program's done wonderful things. I was able to reconnect with my wife now. We got married, and she hasn't seen the real ugly side of Tommy. She just heard a whole lot of it. But, you know, by the grace of God, and I keep doing this thing, she won't ever have to see it, you know. Some of my greatest moments now are working with a new guy and seeing the light come on in his eyes, you know, because sitting here the other night, you know, you just have those nights where you just, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I'm going. Chaired a newcomers meeting, and a young girl sat right there in that empty chair. And she was me. My first meeting, a tear rolls from her eye, and she's like, I can't stop getting loaded. You know, it's baffling when you don't know anything, and you don't know that you have an allergy to alcohol, that, you know, when I put it in my body, it does crazy things. It doesn't do what it does to my mother. When I put it in me, I don't know how, I can't promise you how many I'm going to have. And when I need to stop, I can't promise you I can stop. So she's sitting there, and, you know, that's what we're here for. That's why we come to these meetings, you know. We've had our spiritual awakening, you know. But I can't live off of, you know, Jerry always says, I can't live off yesterday's cheeseburger. I got to keep feeding my soul. I got to keep feeding my spirit. If I have to come here 1,000,000 times for one newcomer, and so be it, you know. We started, I love going out to do an H&I at Journey. That's a great thing. You've got a room full of people who don't know what's going on, you know. My life's falling apart. I'm in rehab, you know. I'm not sure if this AA thing's going to work. And then people who come in who've got some time, you know. I've got a little over 2 years, and that's the longest I've ever gone without a drink since I was probably 15 years old. I was getting drunk and loaded for more years than I wasn't, you know. That's sad to say. But, I mean, that's all I knew. That's all these people know. Like, you're going to take away the one thing that makes me me. You got to give me something far better as a replacement, or, you know, my house is fixed to get foreclosed on, or my bills can't get paid. You know, whatever their problems are, you know, they have to have something to fill that void. You know, that's what we always turn to. I mean, what is it going to be? You know, what does this program have to offer? And luckily, you know, when I read these and I see God all through them now, I mean, I have such a relationship with God now. Like I said, when I came here, that was not the case, and I didn't want anything to do with it. And Jerry always said, like he was told, say it to the wall, just pray into the wall. And he shows up, and he did, you know, and it's very real to me. It's very near to me. I have to sacrifice. You know, I get up earlier than I have to. I have time with God, and, you know, because I like living in this world now. I like being sober. I love being sober. I got to do what I got to do to keep it. If it takes me losing an hour of sleep, so be it. I'm all about it. I just want to thank each and every one of you that are here tonight. When I say I'm a very grateful recovered alcoholic, I am very grateful. When I tell you that I love you, and I mean it, I mean it. You know, because you're here to help. and we need help. We're dying out there. There's far more dying than there are helping. We're just outnumbered. I mean, the solution is there. We just have to be here to give it to them when they show up. And with that, I'm going to say thank you very much. I do love you. I do mean it. And keep coming back. It works if you work it. Love y'all.